Welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast, where we discuss and analyze your favorite marble sports. From JMR Marble League to All-Go-Do tournaments, we'll make sure you never miss the action. All marble sports, all the time, right here on the MSW Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast. That's right. My name is Brendan.
And I'm Commander Wolf.
And I am MFA, commonly known as that.
Yep, and he is back. MFA from episode, I don't even know, 28, 27? 27?
27.
Yep.
27.
26th? No, it was not 26th. It was 27. I just said 26th, so I could say 6th, like that. But yeah, this intro was. Imagine for new listeners listening to this thing. Okay. Anyways, we're here. Me, Waf, MFA. MFA is on his second tryout for half host, which if you don't know what that means, it means every other week he hosts with me and Waf, because every other week that's not those weeks, we have a guest on from the community to give their voice out into the marble sports community. Yeah, like you, live chat.
Yes.
And talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. But anyway, he is on his second tryout, and 2 weeks we'll have our other half-host second tryout, and then a decision will be made on the half-host situation. So yeah,
Yes.
that's
Hooray.
that is
Hooray.
what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add?
I guess for announcements. So, like you, our listeners will hear this. Like I guess a little later, but basically, to our YouTube listeners, I'm sorry that episode 29 has taken so long to come out. You'll get these pretty much back to back almost, and the reason for that is the intro to episode 29 was missing, and while Brendan uploaded it to SoundCloud, I wanted the intro, but I was waiting for JM to do it. However, JM has been gone for a week now, so not only did I have to fix the intro myself, and then now I'm currently working on the animation segment for the news before I can upload that, and then I gotta do episode 30 because we don't have an editor to work on it right now, and then we'll see if Brendan might do this episode, or maybe one of our other volunteers could help us.
Unknown backups.
This is, and like, school has started for me too, so I'm losing a lot of free time, and so this is going to be a very, very trying week as I get into the groove of things.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
has to be hard, Mr. Woff. That has to be hard.
I have to wake up so early nearly every single day now. It's just gonna be it's a thing.
It's a thing. That's life,
Little
guys.
question. You know what? Yeah, you know what? That's the kind of weird thing with me is I just homeschooled. I get to bed late, wake up late.
Late, I'm assuming. Okay. You cut out there for a sec, but I get the idea. Well, that was lucky. I homeschooled once back in 4th grade. That was my 1 year of that. And it was all right. It was 4th grade. I don't remember it. But it was pretty cool.
Well, I am graduating this year, so happy.
Oh, how about that? So good luck to you and your future stuff after graduation. That must be a large ceremony.
Which means I get to make more marble videos for the content to fill in all this period where Yella doesn't post anything, like silence.
Yeah, Yella's been. I mean, I'm assuming it's because they have this unbelievable Marbula 1 thing coming out, and like we're gonna watch it, and we're just going to have strokes watching because it's so good. But
yeah,
it
the
better be
conveyor
great.
device is ready, or it's like mostly ready. I have some behind the scenes stuff as a patron, so like they're making progress with Marbula 1.
All right.
Hooray!
All right. You and your behind the scenes stuffs ain't getting that video out very fast, is it? Anyway, besides the point. Last announcement. So this Friday, I'm proud to announce, will be the premiere of episode 1, event 1 of the Marble Sports Worldwide All-Go-Do League. That's such a long name every time.
Assuming this episode comes out before this Friday.
Oh, assuming that. All-Go-Do League for short. When you listen to this, you'll probably be able to go watch it. That video is real good content. spent so long working on that and the other events that will be upcoming. Commentary, editing, anything you can imagine is going to be there. Definitely, I would consider it pushing the boundaries of Algodoo in many ways, not just how we use the platform and how we decorate the events and how we have the marbles go through the events. Sometimes we'll be using the top, it's not really the zero gravity thing, which we consider the top view of the scene to do certain events, and sometimes we will have different anti-gravity things. We're just doing a ton of stuff, and we're going to try to keep it authentic, but still pioneer new borders, I guess, at the same time. So, that content I'm so excited for. So definitely go check that out if you haven't already. High expectations for Algodoo in that sense. Anyways,
hooray!
That's all the announcement. Has the first event been
announcements? I love
questions.
Announcements.
First event of what? Of my thing or of someone else's?
No, the first event has not been revealed of MSWAL. No, it has not.
It has. It's 1v1 racing. Didn't everyone
No.
knows that?
Oh.
Well, clearly not everybody.
Did I not say that? 1v1
Yeah,
racing. If
I
you were
did-
confused
I
about
did
what
know
that
that.
might mean.
I did.
Okay. It's
I did know that.
1v1
I thought event
happens
one
when
was.
you have one and then you have another one and then they verse each other a bunch of times.
I know that. It's just I thought the event one was the battle ring.
Nah, that's event 2. 2. I don't know. I said 2 like that, but yeah. So definitely going to be exciting though. A lot of work went into that, and I'm so excited. I'm actually. Some of the events that we have planned are just so cool. Am I going to keep pondering something like that? Or are we going to go to the news? Let's go to the news. Bye.
Hello, Marble sports fans. My name is Johnny Marble, and as always, I am bringing you that news for MSW, but I don't know if you can tell my voice maybe, but I'm just a little bit under the weather. But much like the Postal Service, this news is going on, whether it hails, rains, sleets, snows, or I get, a flu. Johnny Marble ain't no quitter, guys. But hey, let's get right into the news. So Jelly's Marble Runs released the Marble Rally 2019 Showdown event, where the top 4 would automatically move on to the Marble Rally 2020 main tournament, while 5th through 8th will compete with the 13th place and 16th place marbles of the Marble Rally 2019. The top 4 are in order as the following: Big Pearl, Rastafarian, Lollipop, and Duct Tape. The marbles moving on to the race-off are White Widow, Blazing Fireball, Deep Ocean, and Nemo, who will be joined by Slimer, Black Knight, Silverbolt, and Reflector. The race-off will occur shortly before the race 1 of the 2020 Marble Rally, so we all here wish the best of luck for them. In other news, the final marbles of the MSWAL have been revealed, and they are Cyclops, Plasma, Firestar, Grapefruit, and 8-Ball. The first race will be released on January 17th, that's this Friday, so be sure to cheer on your favorite marble when it premieres. Guys, I've been Johnny Marble. You've been great listeners for dealing with me like this. So let's take it back to Brendan and continue on with the podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Sorry, that probably hurt your ears. From the news. We are back from the news. Thank you, Johnny Marble. Thank you. Let me turn to my left and thank him. He's probably that way somewhere. I think where does he live? Texas? So, let me think. So, Texas would be, I'd have to go out my house this way. You can't see the motions, but just kind of visualize them in your head. Then you have to make a right, and you make a right, you go down, and we go that way, because then you have to get on the, and go that way. So, actually, Johnny Marble is he's from Texas, right? He's probably there. He's probably there. Like there or there, I'd say. In any event, guys, welcome back from the
Thank
news.
you for
I
that
hope the
wonderful
news
visual.
was more entertaining and directional than what I just did. But if it wasn't, then the news has not found his way either. Oh, welcome live chat. Some more people have joined. Don't reveal state at all. Private. Yes, because the people in this Discord, this Marble Sports Discord, are stalkers and would take the time to go through a full state of people to find one guy. Yes, that makes sense.
Yes, it totally does.
But you know what? People have their reasons, right? I mean, I never understood that, right? Because like people like, we have other hosts, by the way, but I'm just rambling. People like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna tell you what state I'm from because that's weird. I don't want you to stalk me. Yes, I'm gonna stalk like 100 million people from your state, just to find you, right? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have Mr. Waff here like usual. He's tired and in college, but he's here, and we have MFA here, who's not in college but maybe tired. So, how you guys doing today?
Not actually that tired. I'm doing actually well.
That's
okay. Actually.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? At least somebody
Sounds
has
like-
got some energy tonight.
Yay! I'm gonna bring the energy to the
You
podcast.
sure are.
My
boy.
energy is solely from the 2/3 bottle of Coke I've drank so far. After that, who knows where it's gonna go? And Waff isn't. See, this is the thing. Waff's in college, and then when you're in college, you don't have a lot of energy because college is hard.
You know what? And that's kind of one of the reasons I don't want to go, but I might go.
You might go because the prospect of earning more than like $40,000 a year is pretty attractive. The only reason,
Well,
there's two. Okay, wait. Before we do marbles, because there's not much. What did they do? JMR uploaded another group of sand marble rally races that look the same as all the other ones.
It was
Sorry.
the showdown for the qualifiers, similar to how the Marble League has a
Showdown
showdown
for
for
the
the qualifiers.
Still, I mean, guys,
Yeah.
Marbula 1 is the attention thing, so I'm kind of just waiting on that. But we'll get to it. I can't remember what I was gonna say now. Oh, what was the thing? So the only reasons you shouldn't go to college are this: either you aren't. Either it's not for you, like you're not someone who does well with school stuff. It doesn't mean I'm not calling you dumb if you're not good in school, because there's some people who aren't good in school and made the right decision not to go to college and then ended up being millionaires. It's possible to do that. It's not easy to do that, but for people who aren't made for college, you can do that. Or you shouldn't go if you actually have a plan besides college. But if you don't really have a plan and you're not bad at school, then you should go to college because, well, you kind of have to be able to pay for your house. I mean, if you're fine with living on the street, that's fine.
Well,
I mean, like I'm not
Marble
knocking
Guy,
that.
some things, shh, please. Some things you actually you can do without college, like voice acting. I took voice acting class. It cost $3,200, and thank you very much to my parents who are paying $400 of it.
Shout out to them.
But here's the
parents.
yes. You know what? The thing is you don't need to go to college because like you can go to work training. I have a good friend who's just going to work training.
Yep.
You don't need to go a full year, 4 years of college.
I agree with that. You don't have to. No. But you should have some sort of a plan. And it's better than the people who go to college without a plan and then just like party the whole time. Which, by the way, nothing wrong with a little bit of party here and there. You need it, all right? Because if the only thing you do is work, then you just depress yourself. It's not good for you. You should get out and relate with people and all that kind of stuff. But you should take some time. You should have balance. I mean, is that what I really mean? I think that's what I really mean. You try to keep
definitely...
your straight A's. Who said that? Wolves? That's funny. But it's good to have balance, all right? And
definitely.
it's hard to perfectly balance, especially for me, because you get really into something, you let other things go, but it definitely you're happier that way because then you don't get too stressed out over something, and then you don't put too much stake in one thing where, if this fails I don't have anything. That's the worst place to get stuck in, right? But what I'm saying to you guys is marble sports is good to watch because marble sports. Oh, wow, I can't believe that just happened. Oh my god. That was insane.
Oh, that's
my pop filter. I mean, you might be able to hear it because I don't have the pop filter up now. Literally just fell. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Yep.
We're not cutting that out. You guys, mid advice that I don't even remember. That just happened. Wait, let me try to re-put it up. We're gonna re-put it up. Waff, why don't you take the show for a minute?
All right. Well, so in the Marvel Sports world, we only have the one thing that's really happened, and that's the JMR San Marbula Rally Showdown, and Brendan hasn't seen it unfortunately because he actually thought it was an old video, even though there's only old episodes or ones before the YouTube channel got deleted, and this one was But anyways, it was basically the showdown to determine who would move on to the qualifiers, if I'm not mistaken, similar to the Marble League, and so our top 4 who moved on were Deep Ocean, Big Pearl, Rastafarian, and Duct Tape. Now,
I remember Big Pearl.
Yeah, I looked through all the stats of the except for I haven't had a chance to look at Duct Tape, but Big Pearl is the only one who's ever actually done decent in the past. They got second in the 2016 Marble Rally, 18th in 2017, and then 9th in 2018. The other ones have all placed in the double digits. I don't think any of them have actually placed in single digits like Big Pearl has. I can type Duct Tape real quick.
You know what? One thing is the top 4 actually automatically went on to the actual Marble.
Okay.
Or Marble Rally, and then the next 4 went on to the qualifiers, and the bottom 4 stayed in the B League.
Oh, okay. So then that means that Blazing Fireball, Lollipop, and Nemo, and Wisp of Darkness were moving on to a qualifiers.
How did
Yes.
that?
Okay.
Wait. So there are. I guess that makes sense because they did do really well in the B League, so they get the top 4 get right into
Automatic
the A
nod.
League. So they're automatically. So they
Yup.
surpass any A League people because A League people have to requalify, but they just get to go right in. I guess.
Yep.
That's
Exactly.
weird.
Duct Tape got only competed last year in 2018. I guess 2 years ago now, and
Yes.
they got 16th place. So in San Marble Rally, remember they're actually like about 20 competitors or something like that. So that's almost middle of the pack, but not really. It's like the bottom quarter. So Duct Tape has not really done anything to impress me.
Yeah, well, Duct Tape.
Oh.
Duct Tape's kind of like the Green Ducks, but San Marble Rally. I mean, how did I come up with that? Because they both have duck in their name. That's my creativity. But so maybe they'll do good this year. That's all I
Maybe.
got.
Also, you two guys are forgetting one other thing that just came out.
What?
The Corsetti Rally.
Yep.
Well, unfortunately, neither of us have had the time to watch it. It's been a very busy day for us. As I mentioned in the intro, I just started college again today from my eighth semester.
I didn't even watch the JMR thing. I mean, to be honest, any channel who gets mentioned besides JMR is lucky, okay? Because it's kind of hard to do better than them. I mean, I probably will barely even talk about my MSWAL situation unless except to update you guys that there's another episode and I'm excited about it for the 100th time. But I mean, there's.
You know what?
We're not knocking your channel, but
I know you're not knocking my channel.
But take all the other Marble Sports channels. You have you and MSPN, which we mention every once in a while because they upload a video every once in 3 years. And then there's Fubica out there just rolling around somewhere, and then there's some other random channels. But JMR is the most commercialized marble sports. JMR has turned it into
Yes.
something that people can get behind. People can get behind the teams and the players and buy merch and fantasy league and you name it. People are so engaged in it. When you take MSPN, not big enough to be able to do that. Take
Yep.
Fubica, just disappeared. Take any other smaller
Yep.
channels, just not large enough channels, not enough fans that like there's enough people to create a Discord like the Marble Base has and get behind teams and you know there's not enough professional design work that there's all these amazing logos and the way it's been taken. So when when we have a podcast about it, right, like this one, which is the one, JMR content is it's a sensible one to talk about because of its like people can kind of relate to it more than any other marble sport at the moment. I think that will change eventually.
I agree.
But-
Yeah, you know what? I try to keep my content high quality. Like you commentated for the events, and you said I just a little bit more to go, and I agree. You know what? I think I need to post more videos because, well, I only post one a month right now.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing though, because when you're a small creator or a new creator like myself, you can still produce good videos. Like I look at what I did for this first event, which is out or almost out, premiering, whatever. It's really good. Like it has the logo intro crap that people have, and it has the little thumbnail that has all the tricks that thumbnails have. Like it has all that kind of stuff. It does. But to actually produce that takes a lot of time. And that's the difference between a small and a big channel. You have to it does take more time. So you may actually have good content, but it just doesn't it's not frequent enough so people forget. And so definitely, you know, there's an advantage in JMR having that team of people. And even then, by the way, with their team of people, they still do have difficulty getting videos out. I mean, they always are trying to push boundaries and continue to improve, but like, yeah, sometimes they go a good few months without anything. Because in all honesty, I mean, I'd go out to say when you take marble sports content, this whole umbrella of content, you're looking at some of the hardest content on YouTube to create. Well, I mean,
I agree completely. You know what the thing is?
What is this thing?
Yeah. Well, you know what?
No, yeah.
Amazingly, this past video, even though it's 18 minutes long, I was able to pop it out in about a week, which is impressive.
It's not bad. That's not bad at all. But like, took a drink from my Coke there. I'm gonna just talk about that for a second because
Thank you, Ren.
I gotta fill the air. Well, how you doing? I do believe that. Well, I'm not gonna say it's the hardest thing on YouTube to create. There's definitely some difficult videos to create. You know, where they have to put so much time into animations. But like, think about marble sports compared to any other sports situation. In other sports, things like YouTube things, often it's like you don't have to do any of the sports work. You know, sports are being played by other people, and then you just take that footage and you talk about it, right? And so, but for marble sports, you have to do both sides of it. You have to create the competition, and you have to come up with the ideas and the events and the teams and the logos and the merch and the what you name it. But on the other hand, you do all that, you finally get it all planned out, and you finally record your first video, and then you're faced with this monumental task, especially as a new creator, with editing the video, editing the footage down, editing the video so it's actually interesting, editing the video because marble sports is not even a real thing, where it's a new thing, so it's not even something that people recognize as a sport yet, and so you have to make it look like a sport. So it right now, as of now, it's so hard to make marble sports because you have to do every part of it, and you have to do it well to get anybody to have any interest because nobody recognizes it as a sport. You have to almost make it look like you have to really work hard to make it look like a sport, like a real competition. And so putting all those aspects into it, all that extra work from all sides, it does take time. And as opposed to just, how easy it is to just, like, not to knock gaming channels. I love gaming channels. I mean, Dash EXP is hilarious, but you sit down and just record a game, and then put a little intro logo and put a little outro logo, and then talk a little bit during the game, and every once in a while you zoom in on your face because you're surprised or something. I mean, that's easy compared to what you have to do for Marble Sports. All right, and
yep, I completely agree.
Yeah, sorry. Someone else cut in.
I mean, like, yeah, that's probably the biggest barrier for people. Like, that's always been the barrier for good quality Marble content. Like, people, like, a lot, for one thing, most of them, admittedly, like, the Marble racing has always been a thing that, like, was more attractive to younger kids and stuff, and so the people who made them were also younger kids that didn't want to take the time to, like, for instance,
what that means.
Make Algadoo, like make the Algadoo races more unique. Like, they're all just the blue background with the black shapes with the pre-made parts that people downloaded from the Algo box. They didn't actually take the time to make something more unique. Very few people actually took the time, and when they did take that time, it took so much more effort, and, like, people realized that, like, it takes a lot to make a high quality series of this kind, and so
yes,
because of that, there are not a whole lot of them. And to add on to that further, basically, since it's harder there's fewer of them to make it, once some of them start to have a lull in content, we have less to talk about. And that's
exactly
the unfortunate truth of it. Like, one day there will be a whole lot of good Marble content. I do believe that, like, eventually people will start to, there'll be, like, people who challenge JMR with the quality of their stuff. Like, but that's I think in a few years in the future, when people finally realize
that's what
how
I
good
want
it
to
is.
do.
You know what?
I want to be that challenge, right?
You know what?
I mean, go ahead,
Honestly,
MFA, before I go, because you had
Sorry,
been holding
sorry.
back a thought. No, you go ahead. No, definitely. I should
Okay.
be sorry. I'm just a rambling marble.
You know what? The thing is like, when I look at the people who are up and coming, who really has a chance? Like, you are on the inside track with this podcast. You have been put on there. I had a slight inside track because I got, like, 300 subscribers for free from my parents' channel. Yeah, but the thing is, it's still very hard to get in. Like, when you can only post once a month, they need more than that. They need at least one video every 2 weeks, or else nothing happens, because they just need content. People love content. If you don't give it to them, you just fall away. Boom.
That is an unfortunate truth. Like, there are other
I know.
YouTubers that I've seen, like, so animation specifically, like, if you don't have your foot in the door, like, you can make, like, so here's something that I've been into, like, it's like as a kid, like, those sprite animations that people would make, probably one of the most popular ones that you've probably heard of is the Super Mario Bros. Z, which is basically, like, a Super Mario Brothers crossed over with Sonic and Dragon Ball. It's a very strange show, but, like, it was very popular back in, like, early 2006, and then I believe is when it started. But, like, a lot of that started a surge of a lot of sprite animators, and what most of them did was, like, they made a bunch of just, like, fights, but, like, no real story to it. And now but recently, like, there's this one YouTuber I watch, Sky the Star Hero. He makes these incredibly long and detailed animations, and even though, like, it's the same, like, they're based off of, like, the same kind of stuff that people do. Wow, shoot, I'm so tired. Sorry. Basically, he does, like, animations in the Kirby pixel art style, which is also famous for their, like, the fight animations on YouTube. But the problem is that, like, he actually wants to take time and do a good story. And so there'll be, like, a 40-minute episode that doesn't even have a single fight in it. And and because of that, one thing is, some people, like, it's so much better, so much more depth and detail than anything else that's ever been created. But because it takes so much time and it only uploads, like, at best every, like, 8 or 6 months if you're lucky.
Wow.
Because of how hard it is.
Wow.
He's got, like, only 400 subscribers, and it's better than anything that anyone else in the community has done. Like, that's the unfortunate truth of it all. If you don't have your foot in the door ahead of time and you don't post consistently, you won't get noticed, even if you have superb content.
See, that's the thing with Yella. Is basically what he did was he's been on since 2008 or 9. So since he's been on 2008 or 9 putting Marble content, where were we in 2008 or 9?
I wasn't even like I didn't know I wasn't 2008. Nah, there was no Marble. I was like 6.
Yeah, exactly. And he
Yeah.
was still 22, 23, Mr. Waff's age. So he had the inside track period. Like, yeah, like
Right, but
boom.
we also no, but like you have to understand the difference here, because back in 2008, 9, 11, 14, any of those years, there was no Marble Sports before. There was not anything like it. And so he had to also come up with the whole idea, like to be the first one to say, you know what? What if we actually did this? No one's done this, so let's do it. I mean, you might have gotten some videos of people running marbles down a track, but you didn't have any sort of commentary, any sort of production, any sort of Olympics. I mean, like, that wasn't happening. And so he had to come up with the whole idea. We have the advantage of, we already know what the kind of the formula is. You need to come up with either a bunch of races or a bunch of events. You need to come up with a set number of teams, and you need to, maybe throw some cool logos in there to keep someone's interest. And you need, have some commentary and a simple scoring, and that's kind of the formula for it. There's no easy formula yet, which is good and bad. Which it's good because, well, then people can't just cheese the whole thing and then saturate the YouTube with bad Marble Sports content. But it's bad because then people that aren't JMR have, even people who've been doing this for some sort of time, like MSPN, have a lot of hard time to get good and consistent Marble content out. And then it's just right now, I mean, it is the beginning, though. The beginning of anything is tough because, like, we should step back and look at where we are. We are 4 years in to the beginning of Marble Sports. That's it. Started in 2016. It's 2020. Do 2020 minus 2016. The simple maths. 4 years. So, I mean, we are at the beginning of something, all right? Think about when, like, anything began. When anything begins, there's problems, and there's difficulties, and it's tough,
Marble Guy, Yella was actually doing it back in 2014. He was doing Marble World Cup back in 2013, 2014, 2015.
Here's the thing, like, that was basically just a normal, like, country marble race that someone has done before. I wouldn't consider that Marble Sports. Like, the quality of production that we consider Marble Sports,
you could count that,
is only really started with, I think
the Marble Olympics.
Well, I think Sam Marble came out first when he started doing the commentaries.
Yes, right.
So Sam
Marble
Sports
was
technically the sport.
Marble Sports is Marble Sports. We've never really been able to correctly define Marble Sports because it's hard to define something that it's still in the beginning stages of. But some of the definite characteristics of Marble Sports are, one, it has to have a structure, right? It can't just be a one-off race. And it can't change the competitors every time. You can't have these teams do it one time and then these teams do it in the next event. No, definitely characteristics that you have to have the same teams competing in over a certain amount of events and have a structure to that, a number of events, and then likely have those same teams plus other ones or through some kind of qualifiers bring them back in a season 2 or an annual next year. That's how that works. Yes. That's a structure to Marble Sports. You can have Marble Racing. Sorry, MFA. I'll get to you in a second. You can have Marble Racing. You can have Marble Fun, Marble Video, whatever. You can have anything. And like, you know what? You can do that kind of stuff, but it's not Marble Sports until it's structured. Whether it be in an Olympic style or just any style like M Games, where it's more like X Gamesy. And it has to have a recurring group of teams, because then it shows that it's a group of athletes competing against each other in a sport type thing, in a league type thing, as opposed to just being a random race with marbles. Maybe you throw in some commentary because you think you're cool, right?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest difference for me. Like, commentary is one of the biggest indicators to me, like, if something is trying to be projected or shown as a sport, like, because all good sports have commentators. be they like normal sports, esports, what have you. So like if you're not even gonna be willing to put in the effort of having commentary and maybe even some like background like fan cheering if you want to and whatnot, it's gonna really be hard to sell the idea that you're creating a marble sport video without it.
Right, I do agree with that.
Little question, guys. I have been thinking about this, which it might sound stupid, but what happens if I were to do like trades? Like you could have coaches and like you could trade marbles, like in NFL or like Formula One, like where they trade drivers.
Well, that's difficult to do because, for one thing, you would have to keep the marble the same because otherwise it's not the same marble, not the same competitor. And at that point, you would have mishmashed marbles on teams that don't match each other.
Well, what you could do is you just make sure you have marbles the same size and just change the color to the other
Here's
team.
what I want to do, because it made me think of something, so I gotta say it before I forget. It's, it gets late over here, I forget quick. When I get to college, which is next year, and if I get lucky enough to go to a college where I find a group of other people that also are into marble sports, watch it, maybe are interested in making YouTube, that kind of stuff. I've always wanted to take marble sports to the next level because there is something marble sports is missing that keeps it from being like another sport. And I've been told this by other people because like I've talked to people who are like, when they saw the video, they're like, oh, this is pretty cool. That's crazy that they do all this production stuff. But they're like, you know what? I just can't get into it. There is one thing it misses, and JMR will likely never do this because, well, I've talked about it once, and they said kind of no, and they're also kind of trapped in their own quality. Does that make sense? Like, they're so good at what they do that they can't just switch because then because then all the fans they do have will be upset. But here's what it's missing. It's missing human competition. It is. It's missing human competition. And at first it sounds impossible because you're like, okay, well, if somehow humans get involved, well, then it just gets weird. Well, then it's the marbles aren't doing anything. How are they being athletes if the humans are doing it? So like that doesn't make a lot of sense
what
at
you're
first.
Talking about is the M games.
Yes and no. No, I don't mean that. I don't mean that there's some people in the background that half-heartedly make decisions about their teams. I'm saying that it's missing human, athletes involved with the sport. And the way I envision this, it's going to be, if it came about, it'd be awkward at first. But the way I envision this is somehow, get your whole marble sports thing planned out. You got your teams and your logos and your similarly colored spheres or whatever, and you have it all ready and you have your events. But then you have a few events where, you first off, any events the marbles are in, you have like the one person for each of the teams that coaches, does the coaching stuff. But on the M games, but a little bit more structured or whatever. But on the other side, you have actual events where humans and the marbles compete together, if that makes any sense.
What?
Yes, I know. It's awkward because it doesn't make sense. It's not something that
you mean like
you think
play marbles?
That's supposed to be not play the game marbles because that's like not fun to watch. But it's not something that's supposed to be involved with marble sports. But I'm telling you, that's what it's missing. That's the difference between 500,000 people and 5 million people getting excited, or 50 million people getting excited about it.
How would you plan to do this? How would you plan to do this? Like, are you
That's
thinking about
hard.
like having marbles, have marbles like where you film and then you have people standing and watching and cheering, like as they roll down?
That's cool. That's cool. And that's also far off too. That's like a MarbleCon 2025 type pipe dream, Like if it ever came there,
yes.
Then I'm sure there'd be camera on all the people watching the supposed live event that'd probably be going on. But I'm talking more about like coming up with creative events in which the marbles are still athletes, but the humans are also involved in the event somehow, to where it's not just it doesn't just look weird. It doesn't look weird.
I get it.
But it looks like a sport. It looks like a sport.
Like, the coach tells the marbles where to go. Like, if you were to have 2 lanes heading into a collision arena, you could have, like, a 4-1-3-2-5-0. You're kind of talking like that.
4-1-3-2-5-0? I don't know what that means.
Like,
sure.
say,
Yeah,
like,
whatever.
put, like, but, like, what I mean is, like, the coach decides, or the person there decides, like, and then they can, like, I know this is kind of like betting, but they could win money. Like they choose where they place the marbles.
No, that's not what Brendan is
track.
saying. That's not like that's community coaches. What Brendan is saying is like actually having them compete.
Yeah,
Human
I
competing.
do. I am
with
going
the
that
marble.
far. And the thing is, it sounds
What?
wrong
Whoa,
because
whoa, whoa.
it's not supposed to happen. It's not. Because when we think marble sports, we're like, the marble's supposed to compete. But I'm talking about how what it's missing is that aspect. Because then people can watch it and actually think there's some involvement from people. I mean, I'm not saying get rid of the marble solo events. I like those. I myself am very all for Marble League. I am excited every year for it. I love to pretend like the marbles are athletes. I love it. But I'm talking about, I'm stepping outside of my interests and going to the people in general, people's interests in general, the communities as a whole, and from what I hear other people say. And what it misses is the human competitive aspect. Because what I hear a lot when I bring up Marble Olympics to other people, Marble League, whatever you want to call it, is, yeah, that's cool, but it's just all luck. I mean, like, it's not like a sport where, like, you have to practice and, like, people are competing. I mean, you know, it's just, you know, the marbles are luck. And to some degree it is, you know. Somehow certain teams always do better than others, but, you know.
Well, here's the thing. Is, like,
right.
If you were to have different sized marbles, then you can plan it.
I mean,
Because that's what I kind of have. Because when in my game, in my Marble League, or not Marble League, World Marble Tournament in Corsetti Rally, there are actually different sized marbles. Like, some marbles are 18 millimeters, and some are 13 millimeters, which Yella will never accept. He cannot accept it because it adds
Don't
too
speak
much
for Yella.
variability.
I've never heard that guy speak at all, and I don't know what he actually thinks about the whole thing.
you haven't heard him speak, really? Well,
No, he's never said anything.
He speaks.
Everyone does it for him.
he has spoken before.
When?
Yes.
I can't remember when, but I do remember it was either in a video or an interview.
Oh yeah, I
With
think
interview.
one time. Yeah, but like he never, like rarely does he ever like give his actual thoughts on this thing. That's why I'd love to have him on the podcast somehow, because I want to actually hear, like, dude, what do you actually think about this? Do you actually like agree with, like, do you like what do you even know what you're doing? Like, not that he's not doing. I mean, like, does he know what we think about it? Does he agree with what we think about it? You know, or was he going for something different? I don't know what he really thinks about the whole thing. Or if he meant something else, or if he kind of takes a whole different thought to it, or who knows. I don't know how to explain that,
Okay.
but like we don't really know.
I know he cannot use bigger or smaller than 15 millimeters. Like, if it's not exactly 15 millimeters, or approximately like within half of either side of a millimeter, he doesn't use them.
Yeah,
You know
I know,
what?
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying before, where the JMR is great, and JMR will always have its huge fan group because their production value is through the roof, and they're going to keep being creative and stuff, kind of. But they are trapped in their own greatness, I'm saying. It would take them years to even decide to put a 14 millimeter marble in, let alone, you know, have community coaches or let humans be a part of the situation, right?
Yes.
So that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
I wanna-
And someone...
Sorry, I'll let you finish first.
No. Yeah, I'll finish up, actually. And like someone said in the live chat earlier, you know, new Marble Sports versus JMR. And then what I'm saying is, it's like, new Marble Sports, you know, I don't know what it looks like because it's just beginning. Technically, everything's still new. But like I'm saying, as far as what is missing and what someone should try in the future, and what I would definitely work on trying if I had other people, because obviously I have a lot of people in the community, but they're not with me, so I can't like do something with humans because, well, I don't have the humans here, and they need to be here often, you know.
Yeah,
but
that's your problem with your vision, is you need to actually like hire them. And you know what, until you get huge, you can't do that. In order to get huge, you need to do the tried and true method. Or
so
it's basically a catch-22.
Well, or if I get lucky enough that I go to a college where there's a lot of people who have a similar interest.
Yes.
Because like if they are let's say I meet a bunch of people. I mean, or it couldn't I mean Beacon College. It's just college. You always meet people in college because there's so many freaking people at a college that like someone usually has a similar interest. But like in other places too. But like just meet some people that have a similar interest and like you they're not like millions of miles away and they're like, yeah, dude, love marble sports, and they're open to the idea of like, hey, you know what? JMR is already doing Marble Olympics, so let's do something with humans. And I mean, but with humans, I don't mean coaches. They can be coaches in the events where marbles are solo. Like there would be solo marble events, and the humans would be coaches. But I'm saying, yeah. But I'm saying,
Yes.
like the humans compete in the events in some way. There wouldn't be events where it's just humans. It wouldn't like revert to something where half the events you see marbles rolling down funnels, and the other half events you see humans like throwing a ball back and forth. You wouldn't see any of that. But I'm talking about events where both of them are integrated. Where you have an event where, I don't know, a marble is trying to do something like it's in like a little arena or something, and like maybe the marbles are, I don't know, somehow it's created that they're battling each other like over a soccer ball or something, and then the humans act as the goalies or something in that scenario. Does that make sense? Like they're just a part of a team in one of the events, or somehow like competing with the marble, and then it's like,
Ooh, I
then there's
actually
an
have a great
aspect-
idea.
There's one sec, MFA, hold the idea.
Okay, that's
then
fine.
there's
That's
an
fine.
aspect of like bringing in like, oh wow, then I can root behind this guy that like exists and is real and is competing and has to kind of maybe practice this in his off time for a couple of minutes just so he kind of knows what he's doing during the event. Does that make sense? Then it adds
Yes.
a little bit of that. And once you add a little bit
Yes.
of that and people enjoy a little bit of that, then it grows and gets more creative and gets more structured and professional, and people start to, hone the rules on how to really make it interesting and have both aspects of both sides. Then you're taking off in that. Then all of a sudden, not only are you have this awesome marble sports thing that people like to watch, but then people can get behind competitors, kind of like esports. You talk about like 10, 20 years ago when video games became a thing and it was just sitting in front of a screen playing a video game. Most people back then would not have said to you, hey, this is totally going to become some sort of skillful athletic competition where like we
Yeah.
have a full arena looking like a basketball arena, but it's just a bunch of computers. That's not what people had in mind all the way back then. But eventually, as soon as you create a competition that has human involvement, where in some way, in some small way, a human has to have some sort of skill in order to compete, then it can become a competition. And that's what I'm saying. That's the missing part of JMR. They will likely never integrate that. I'm not saying they should, and I'm not saying I want them to. It's just that it would be something I'd like to try, and it would be something I think would kind of help other people who are kind of on the edge, like,
Yeah.
yes, this is great, but there's not really any skill to it, kind of might be interested because they can get behind a real person. That's
Alright,
a crazy
so
idea, though.
I love it.
I'm jumping here. Like, I think it would be kind of hilarious, like, seeing like people like getting like legitimately like angry, like kind of like a coach, like, come on, Wizzy, what are you doing? Like that would be the funniest thing in the world, and I would be so happy to see that. But here's the thing: having like humans like getting involved, like that, then like that starts to be things like you can actually get legitimately upset about things, like, and that's one thing that I dislike about normal sport. That actually I love about these marble sports compared to normal sports is like I would like get so into the role play and actually get legitimately upset when something bad happens, but then realize that it's marbles and it's mostly just chance, and I can laugh at myself. But when it's a human involved who can train and has skill, when they mess up, I can, like, it's their fault mostly, and like I actually can be legitimately upset by that, and so the video could actually put me in maybe a bit of a bad mood. Whereas in a marble video, even if a marble I like doesn't win, it's still it's still a ridiculous thing that I'm watching, and I know it's ridiculous, and it makes me happy regardless.
I actually came up with an idea that actually worked. Like, you could have a double obstacle course. Like, this person holds onto their marble, and then they have to run through an obstacle course, put their marble in the track, and lift a gate, and then the marbles have to go through an obstacle course, and the marble that crosses the line first wins. So, like, you have the human element and also the marble element.
Listen. I'm going to say listen until I come up with the words I want to say here. there will be people going into listen, I'm actually all about what you just said, not about the way you said it, okay? If I were to do something like that, I'd tweak it a little bit, but then again, every time someone gives me an idea in this community, I'm all like, yeah, it's a great idea, now let me tweak it a little bit. I think S-Man can
Yes.
S-Man can vouch for that, and so can who else is here? Wolves, I'm sure he's heard that multiple times. Yeah. I will admit, I'm always like that, because I always take the idea, but I always see I'm all about the details as well. But that's not actually a bad idea. Now, I wouldn't say it would happen quite like that, but the idea itself is good. And as Mr. Waff did with his exaggerated sigh there, not all people are going to be into that. And there is a place for JMR, because there's going to be a lot of people, including myself, by the way. I'm diverse to both categories. Going to want the tried and true regular marble sports, the regular racing, just marbles thing. But
I agree. I agree.
I would never not like that. They do. It's something that once you're pulled in, you can't get pulled out. It's like a black hole of marbles.
Yep.
But there are possibilities for human competition within marble sports. It must be done well, and it will be. I guarantee that if it happens, if I do it first somehow, or if somebody else does it first, it's going to be hard to do. The first time. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be weird for people to see, fans to see, and it's going to be weird for people who aren't fans to see, because it's going to be like the people who aren't fans are going to be like, oh, this might be a cool competition, but the marbles is weird. Then the people who are fans are going to be like, I love the marble thing, but the people are weird. So like, it definitely is awkward at first, but I feel like if it's done right, it could work, because then you can actually see the sweat and the tears of people competing, as well as your favorite marble sports in the same thing. And I think that's a possibility, and I would not be against experimenting with that in the future.
You know what? And then the thing is, you could actually kind of get ladies in there. Like, ladies could compete. What?
Sorry, I don't know.
What? Did I hear you right? Did I hear you right?
Yeah.
Brenton!
I mean, it usually comes. It usually. At least I don't have to mark this video made for kids, right?
Oh! I apologize for like the 2 or 3 female viewers of this podcast.
I mean, Kaysen's giving me the eyes emoji. He definitely is looking around. Listen. Do not most sports come with that aspect? I mean, that's what people like. All right, people like to look at things that are interesting to look at. Right. What does that imply? That implies that. Okay, let's not talk about what that would imply.
We're gonna stop there. We're gonna stop. I guess I'm putting my foot on. We're stopping that right there. That's not. We're not gonna continue that one.
Mr. Waff is making an executive decision. Thank you, Dad.
Oh boy.
Thank you, Mr. Waff.
Oh man.
But okay, all I mean to say with this, and like what time are we at here? 45 seconds. 45 seconds. Wow. Not even any JMR content. Look at that. And I definitely want to continue this conversation in a different episode too, because I think it's a good one. But all I'm trying to say is it can be done. It will upset people at first, but if it's done well, it could be interesting. And I do believe that, because I know that I'm not the only one to have my thoughts, because no one is that special. So I'm sure there's other people out there who would agree that it might be cool to see some aspect of that in there. And I know you guys are skeptical about it, but I mean, especially Waff. But maybe this is the trigger to move towards the trivia. I don't know. What do you think?
I wanted to.
Can we go off on my tangent first?
So there was a second point I wanted to make this before we went off on this tangent. Like
we should probably go to trivia though. After this, though.
So I'll do my thing. Then MFA, you can do your thing. Okay, so you mentioned like how like you could have a marble that's like the same size as the other marble when doing team transfers, but the thing is like that doesn't just because even if they're the same size and weight, you can't get that doesn't mean they'll be the exact same marble, because like how much wear and tear they have, as well as like the material they're made of.
That's the beautiful thing, is because you don't know if you're getting a good trade or a bad trade.
But you're not.
It's kind of like It's kind of like the Herschel Walker trade. You thought you were getting something great, but it turns out to be the biggest bust ever.
But the thing is, like, they were trading the same human being with the same skill set. This you're trading it for a different marble, and so you're not getting the actual player that you traded for.
Well, you know what? That's the thing. But you could have a team full of mismatches, because if they're all flying under one banner, you can do it. Like what I'm doing is already kind of like that. Like with my channel, it's already kind of mismatched marbles that
the problem
kind of fit
see
their
this is
roles.
the problem though, and this is the problem with those kinds of things. We need to move on to trivia right after this though, because we are getting to an end. Trust me, your tangent will find its way into another episode. Of
course.
The problem with
I'll forget it by then.
And I was thinking about why the community coach thing for MSPN was interesting, but not really interesting to anyone else besides the 10 people who are doing it, which is true, by the way.
There's a few.
Don't start the videos with 5 minutes of your community coaches talking. We've done this episode before. Not gonna rant about that again. And S-Man doesn't like that ever. But the reason that is because there isn't any aspect of involvement with people who aren't community coaches. For anyone who's not a community coach, there is literally no change in the content for them. Yeah, okay, yeah, now you're ordering the marbles this way because some random guy was like, hey, you know what, I think that might be a good idea.
Well, that's like normal
that
sports.
That doesn't change
Yes.
that doesn't change your view on the event. Unlike, well, in normal sports, yes, it's a random guy making a random decision, it seems, but because each person is quite a bit more different than compared to how each marble is different, it does make a little bit more of an impact. And each person they specialized in events, like in football, there's players who play certain positions, and then there's players who are coming up from the farm leagues that are like heroes or stars or something, all that kind of stuff. Then it's a little more something worth talking about. But right now, the community coaches doesn't work. But what I'm saying is, if people are added in, if there's actually a human coach that is you see a face behind the team, and you also have situations where a human is somehow involved in competing with the marble, but not doing more than the marble. That would be the rule. They could never do more in an event than a marble could. But but events where they are involved, they're doing something that the marble would not be able to win without the person doing that thing. And that once that's in there, then there's a little bit more validity and interestingness to choices and community coaches and stuff, because there's a face in front of it. That does make a difference. It always makes a difference, and it's the reason there's a little bit of that there's that hesitation for that jump from where we are right now with 500,000 people being into it, including myself, to, millions of people just into it. And it would take time to build this up, because most people are going to find it weird. Both people are really into it and really out of it are going to find that weird. But it's almost like another rabbit hole past the one we've already gone past. But
yeah,
it
probably
definitely
should stop.
But it definitely is something to consider, and I think it's something that could be interesting for many more people down the line. Listen, that's a crazy idea.
I like the idea, and you know what? It's interesting, but like you say, it's the leap. You make it sound so good, but will it actually pan out? Maybe.
I mean, I might be one of the people who can pull that off later. That would be what I'd want to experiment with it, at least.
Yeah, you know what the thing is? If you're in New Jersey and I'm in New York, it's not that far, like maybe 5 hours.
But that's the thing, like 5 hours, like, that's the problem, because, like...
Yes.
It literally needs to be, like, events. You have to record all of them and stuff, and that takes time. You need a bunch of people, and they need to be there and stuff. And so that's why, meeting people that are really into it, a bunch of people that are all into it and willing to kind of, to invest time and money and put on shirts with their logo on it and get up in the gear and come up with these creative events and film them nicely and edit them nicely, all those aspects, kind of like JMR plus people who are competing in these weird events, then that would work out. That's hard to find, But if it does work out, if it's kindled somewhere, then it grows. Then it can grow. And that's what I'm saying. So do I think it's going to happen today or in the next year? No. I mean,
No.
I'd love to experiment with it sometime in the next year or two. But, I mean, just we're still at the beginning. Realize before you think, oh, this is, we're running out of time. I mean, we're not. I mean, we're still at the beginning of something, okay? So everyone take a huge deep breath and a huge undeep breath and calm down. Exactly. And let's go to the trivia segment. Waff, hit us with the music.
That's loud. Trivia. It's time for the
Trivia.
We gotta get these questions right. Trivia. Hey, Johnny Marble lives down in Texas, my man.
Deep in the heart
Alright.
of Texas.
That's where you live too. You should go meet him.
Yes.
That would be amazing.
Anyways, someone launch us with the trivia.
All right. I guess
You go ahead.
I have one. Brendan's gonna have a hard time with this one because he didn't see the video. So, in the showdown, there was one marble that had a really smooth DNF that was just like so perfect. Like they just got up there and they just perched right to a perfect stop. What was that marble?
Blazing Fireball?
Let
no
me take a
idea.
guess because I know some of the competitors, but I still have to watch it. So I actually did think it was a rerun because I know they've been doing that so much lately. That was my mistake. And I saw 2019. I was like, this is 2020. That was confusing. But I'd say your best bet with that is probably Big Pearl.
No, not Big Pearl. I'm pretty sure. White Widow. It might have been White Widow. I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. I
All
watched
right,
the
let's
video.
hear it, Mr. Waff.
Yeah.
All right. So you say White Widow, and then Brendan just says Big Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. Espen wants me to hold on, but okay, he's posted. All right, good. All right. Okay, and Akonon's posted. All right. The answer is White Widow. White Widow went up.
Yes!
It was on the little curve. Like, it literally just rolled up, and it was just the perfect amount of speed to at the very tip of the little the dip, and just sat there. It was just so perfect.
That's
He retired
cool.
from the
I can't
race.
wait to see
My
that.
highlight.
when
That
I
was the
watch.
highlight for me for that video. It's just so perfect.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was back-to-back
MFA.
DNFs too.
Oh wow,
What?
That's pretty bad.
You want me to do mine now?
Yeah, I want you to do yours.
Okay. So, if you know the wiki page for all the information for JMR, there's such a thing as the Lead Cube Award.
The what?
The Lead Cube. Lead, like...
No,
the stuff that you don't
I
want in
heard you.
drinking
I'm just trying to
water.
figure out what the heck this is.
Yeah, lead cube. No idea.
It's basically for the people who do the worst. Basically, you get 4 points for last, 3 points for second to last, 2 points for third to last, and 1 point for fourth to last. So basically, 16th gets 4. So basically, you want to
okay.
not get the lead cube. So, there are 4 teams in each of the 4 years that have gotten the lead cube. Can you tell me one team? Just tell
Well, I
me
can
one
say
team.
Oceanics. I know Oceanics. But that's too easy.
And if you get 2,
I know.
you're...
I bet I can
if you
get.
get
I bet I
2
can get 3 of the 4.
Wait, what? For,
I
for
can
which
get- I-
teams?
then if
Wait,
you're
hold on, wait,
a
what was-
buff.
what-
Yeah, just guess.
Oceanics.
Sorry.
100% the Oceanics is one of them. Cobalt, I'm gonna say is one of them. Pinkies, I'm gonna say is one of them. And I'm gonna say, you're probably gonna do really well to say like Quicksilvers. No. Did Quicksilvers ever make it on? They might have been on, but I'm gonna say like Gliding Glaciers, Quicksilvers. They're a good bet as well.
Hold on. What was the question?
Those are like lead cubes. Come on.
No, I get the
Lead cube.
What was the question? Just repeat it, please.
Basically, name a team, or try to name as many teams that have won the lead cube.
For any kind of competition?
Like all 4. Like there's been 4 different Lead Cube winners. Try to name as many of the 4 as
For
you can.
Marble League only?
I'm sure I got
Yes.
2 or 3 of them right
Yes.
there.
Okay,
Pretty easy.
Jungle Jumper's easy for 2017 because they got last. They did awful pretty much all year except for archery.
I did forget them, but I'm pretty sure on the Pinkies. I'm pretty
Oceanics
sure
is another one.
on the Oceanics, and I'm pretty sure that you might see something from Cobalt or Gliding Glaciers or one of those, know nothing teams.
Quicksilvers, they did. If I remember correctly, they did. No, they didn't do bad. They just did middle of the pack, and then they didn't qualify. So it was Jungle Jumpers, the Oceanics,
Jungle Jumpers, Oceanics.
and then let's see here. The other 2 would be. Didn't Mellow Yellow get? Oh no, they got 15th.
15th.
So it's not. So it wasn't them. Who got below them? It was Minty Maniacs. Minty Maniacs is one definitely.
Maybe.
All right.
All right, let's
I
hear
can't
it.
think of anything
Wait,
else. Those 3.
We have 3. Wait, you need one more. Just try to
Okay,
guess
fine.
one more.
So my guess for the 2016 last place team.
It doesn't matter.
Is-
It doesn't matter. You're just
Who did the worst that year? I think
Probably.
it was.
People like this part. What we just think. I ask this every week.
I don't know. Pinkies, sure, why not?
Pinkies.
Okay. So, according to my sources, the person to get last or the 2016 Lead Cube was the Oceanics for the most lower
Wow.
place finishes. So
Wow.
Oceanics, you both got that. So that's 1. 2017, it was the Jungle Jumpers.
Yeah.
I didn't
Mr.
get that
Waffio
one.
got it correct. 2018, or let's see, 2019 was the Pinkies.
Okay.
So I got that one.
So you both got that. And then in 2018, it was the Limers.
The Limers.
Your Limers, Brendan.
The Limers. I'll give you that. The Limers.
Wait, they kept.
Limers.
Yeah, okay. I thought Mini Maniacs did worse than them. Or did they not even? Okay.
No. These mini maniacs, I'm telling you, they're like maniacal out there with the mini maniacs.
That was a good one.
man.
I never heard of that, but I got 3
That was
of
actually a
them,
really
so.
good question. I appreciate that question. All right.
The Minty Maniacs
one more
got
though,
second in the Lead
and then we
Cube.
do have to wrap up for the night because we're heading on the hour point, and I also
Yeah.
got to go. So last question I have one trivia question said to me by somebody else, of course, because when do I come up with my own, right? Who is the Oceanics' current coach?
Oh,
I know Tide got fired.
I mean, my guesses are like River or like it's not Tide or it's either like
Tide was the old coach.
I think it's Shore.
It's Shore. It's Shore.
Oh, sure.
All
right.
Oh, okay. A Cannon got it. I didn't get it. I'll just tell you it's not Shore.
No. Okay, well, let's take a look. I think it's like Lagoon. I never would have got that. I forgot.
Never- yeah,
I remember
shoot.
now.
Shore is
was
one of the
Lagoon, it was
competitors.
something-
Shore's one of the competitors. What am I saying? Dang it.
Yes. Yes.
You got me,
Ooh.
MFA. You got me with that one. Dang it. Oh
You
well.
cut out for the first time off, but he tried.
First time I've messed
that
up
was-
plenty of times. I'm not even gonna
That
pretend
was a
like
cool
I've
question, though. Yeah, Akanon, you were very big brain. Good for you getting that question
brain.
right. You-
Congratulations.
Congratulations, first time in the live chat, getting a
Congratulations.
trivia question. But anyway, we're cresting an hour here. I feel like I said that
Oh, no, we're
last time,
past it,
but
definitely.
I don't remember. No, we're
could
not.
I just say? Could I just say my quick thing real quick? The thing I
Sure.
told you about.
very quick,
please?
very quick. You have
Okay.
like
So
three halves of a second. Next week,
so-
Akanon, tune in next Monday night.
So, basically, I was reading instructions. We got a present for laser guns, like laser tag. And so I was reading the instruction here. You got that?
I'm listening.
Okay, so under tips, it said, fail to hit aims. And I'm like, huh. Then I read under possible reasons. There are obstacles between the two shooters. So now this doesn't make sense unless you're playing outside. And you have a tree in between you. So I guess you're supposed to remove obstacles, which means cut down the tree. Then, Directly below that,
Um,
I see disable to use normally. Obviously, this guy doesn't know exactly the English. But then it gets the absolute
is
best.
it Phoenix? Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
No.
Sorry.
The bug
Love you, Phoenix.
is trapped, and it fashes quickly. That is spelled Fashes. The bug is trapped, and it fashes quickly. And remind you, this is for laser guns. This is for laser guns.
What? Okay.
It's because this is laser guns. So you know laser tag?
Yeah.
Oh, those thingies. Yep.
Yes. So it says disable to use normally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
For the problem. And then it says the bug is trapped and it fashes quickly.
No. I get that. Like, I just feel why are you talking about laser tag? I thought it was gonna be about like the whole marble thing with human beings.
Because it's just some random tangent I found, and it's absolutely hilarious. And then it says
found
for the
and
then it says for solution.
I found. Can you write that down, Mr.
Write
Woff?
down
Can you
what?
say that? Some random tangent I found.
Some random
like
tangent
that.
I found. All right.
Because that doesn't.
It's because
It's going in there, I guess.
It's going in the list. We'll make a book eventually.
it sounds stupid, but it's absolutely hilarious. It's because it says the bug is trapped. What bug are you going to have inside a laser gun?
I don't actually understand that at all. Actually, it
okay.
surpasses my intelligence. But then how much is that?
Exactly. Exactly. It's like, huh? Why is there a bug trapped in a laser gun?
I don't know. I didn't actually. That was kind of weird. I don't know. You'd have to call them.
Well, that's yes.
Oh, anyways,
exactly.
Anyways, though, we are way over here.
Yeah.
So
Sorry
we
about
didn't
that.
do the outro trivia music. So let's do that, and then we can get out of here. Ready? Go. Outro. Trivia.
It's the outro.
We got them questions right today. Yeah. That was
Good.
retarded. But you know what, guys? We're going to see you next Monday. Tune in Friday. I'm telling you guys, the YouTube is going to be so much better quality than the music we just sang for you. It's going to be great.
Hooray.
I'm telling you, when you want to know work has been put into something, I'm telling you, work has been put into these events. And you know what? That's only episode 1. The quality only will get better, the creativity will only get better, and the excitement of the marble sports itself will only get better. That's all I got for you guys tonight. I'll see you next week on the MSW podcast.